Hello students, today we will discuss about the different kind of machine. The in my previous class I already discussed about the theoretical knowledge of machine and the what is load, what is effort, what is mechanical advantage, what is the relation between the mechanical advantage and the velocity ratio, what is efficiency, and what are the relationship between the mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, and efficiency of the machine, and how the machine become 100% efficient, what is actual machine and what is the real machine. All these things are already discussed in my previous class, but today I just focused on the two kind of machine. That is, one is lever, another is pulley. So lever, if we discuss about the lever, we find that the lever is a rigid, straight or bent bar which is capable of turning about a fixed axis, and that fixed axis is called fulcrum. So we again define that a lever is a rod or a rigid straight bar or bent bar which moves freely about a fixed point, and that point is called fulcrum, and the fulcrum remain fixed when the lever is used. Now if we going to the principle of lever, so what we actually find, the fulcrum is in between the lever effort and the load. Similarly, sometimes fulcrum is just the end point of a lever, and the load and effort are another point. So actually all such things happen on the principle of moments. A lever works on the principle of moments, according to which at the equilibrium position of the lever, the moment of the load about a fulcrum must be equal to the moment of the effort about the fulcrum, and the two moments always be in the opposite direction. So that is very important, that the function of lever depend upon the principle of moments. So the principle of moments, that the at a particular point, that means at equilibrium position, the moment of load about the fulcrum that is equal to the moment of the effort about the fulcrum. So we can say that the load into load arm, that is the moment of the load, is equal to the effort into effort arm, that is the moment of the efforts. That means if this is the lever and the fulcrum is in between the effort and load, then we can say the moment of effort, that the amount of force applied in the lever, that is the effort, then effort into the effort arm, that moment is equal to the load into load arm. So this is the actual principle of the lever. So lever on that position of the fulcrum, load and efforts, lever are basically three types. So on that case we define the lever as a class 1 lever, class 2 lever and class 3 lever. Now if we go through the different types of example of the lever, we find that the seesaw is one of the best example of the lever, and also the crowbar, scissor, the handle of the water pump, spoon also used to open a lid is also the example of a lever. The wheelbarrow, that is also the lever. The nut cracker, even a simple bar to lift the load is a lever. Now we have to define the type of lever. Now in case of the lever 1, that means class 1, what we actually find for class 1 lever, we find that the fulcrum F is in between the load and efforts. The fulcrum F is in between the load and efforts, and the load and efforts working in opposite direction. And in that case, what we actually find, that find that the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio can have any value. That value may be greater than 1 or equal to 1 or less than 1. So whenever the effort arm is greater than the load arm, on that case what actually happened, both mechanical advantage and velocity ratio greater than 1 and act as a, in that case the lever act as a force multiplier. That means enable us to overcome a large resistive force by applying a small efforts. I don't know whether you know about the story or not. The Archimedes once said that if you give a long rod or a lever whose length is much greater than the radius of our earth, then on his single tip he can lift the earth from its main position to other position. That means he want to explain about the first class or class 1 lever, where the load is one end and effort in other end, and the effort arm is always greater than the load arm. So on that case mechanical advantage and velocity ratio both is greater than 1, and the machine, that means that lever act as a force multiplier. And in such a case we can find lot of such example, like the crowbar is one of the simple example to lift the load from one position to another position. And also we can find that various type of class 1 lever, like scissor. Scissor is also one kind of lever, that means class 1 lever. And seesaw. Seesaw is just a lever, simple lever, but it is a class 1 lever. Now when the effort arm and load arm are equal, that in case of seesaw, just like so, on that case the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio is equal to 1. That means that for seesaw, in both case it is not necessary to give the much more efforts or less load. In that case it is just used to balance, like the physical balance. In that case the effort arm is equal to load arm. So this is one of the example of class 1 lever. Now again the effort arm it will be the shorter than load arm. So on that case the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio is less than 1, and in such a case the lever used as a speed multiplier. For example, the scissor whose blade are longer than its handle, and also the long handle or that is also used to I just give you the long handle, or if I have such photographs, just a minute, wait. Here no such photographs of the long handles or. So it is actually used in both, and on that case the load arm is much higher than the effort arm, and the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio is less than equal to 1. So class 1 lever, the fulcrum is in between the effort and load. Also the value of mechanical advantage and the velocity ratio is changed. It may be greater than 1, it equal to 1, or it less than 1. So depending upon the length or the comparison between the effort arm and load arm, we find that there are 3 types of condition where effort arm is greater than load arm, where effort arm equal to load arm, and where effort arm less than the load arm. So class 1 lever act as a force multiplier when effort arm is greater than the load arm, and it acts as a speed multiplier when effort arm is less than load arm. and it is just act as a simple balance like seesaw when effort arm is equal to load arm. So this is all about the class 1 lever. Now in case of the class 2 lever, class 2 lever is a little bit different than class 1 levers. In that case, the fulcrum is just one end and the load is in between the fulcrum and uh, mm, uh, fulcrum and the efforts. So I just give you the example. This is the example of class 2 lever. Here the fulcrum is one end and the load applied in between the fulcrum and efforts, and effort arm is always greater than load arm. So if effort arm always greater than load arm and also the mechanical advantage is equal to effort arm by load arm, then we can say that for class 2 lever the mechanical advantage always greater than 1. That means the lever as a simple machine work as a force multiplier, where L is somewhere in between in the effort E and fulcrum F, and in that case the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio of the class 2 lever are always more than 1. Thus class 2 lever act as a force multiplier and less effort is needed for overcome a large load, and the very good example is wheelbarrow. So if we show the wheelbarrow, here the fulcrum is here and the load is acting here and the effort is acting here. So effort arm are always much higher, greater, much bigger than log arm. So load arm. So wheelbarrow is also the example of class 2 lever, and nut cutter is also the fulcrum is here and the load is also here and the effort is here. So on that case, by applying less efforts we can overcome the higher load. This is the class 2 lever and this is the example of the class 2 lever. And now we are going to the lever in class 3 level, that means class 3 levers. Class 3 levers where the fulcrum is definitely the one side of the lever, any one end of the lever, but the load arm and effort arm, that is the effort is in between the fulcrum and load, and effort and load are acting in opposite direction. That means the load arm always bigger or much higher than the effort arm. In such a case, the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio less than 1. So here the example we are find the fishing rod. What actually happened in fishing rod, the fulcrum is here and the load, that means the fish that is acting at the end, at that end, but that means it acting here and the efforts we applied here. So in that case what actually happened, the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio less than 1, so we get the fishing rod act as a speed multiplier, as longer displacement of the load is obtained by a smaller displacement of effort. So on that case the machine or the class 3 lever act as a speed multiplier. So this is the third category of lever. Another example is blade of knife moves longer by a small displacement of the handle, and shorter hand of rower is also the example of class 3 levers. So we find the mechanical advantage, which is effort arm by load arm, as effort arm is smaller than the load arm, so mechanical advantage is less than or equal to 1. Although we do not obtain mechanical advantage for a lever of third order, we use it for several reasons. we use lever of a third order where other two kinds of lever cannot be used. And in case of the lever of the third order, that means class 3, we always obtain bigger displacement of load by the minimum displacement of applied force, and that is why we use a lever 3, that is the third order, in fishing rod. So the order of the levels found in human body. Now in case of the human body, we also use the kind of lever. So class 1 lever, when nodding of the head, is the example of the class 1 or first order lever, where the F is at spine, fulcrum, and load is in front, and E is the rear part. Rear part is just back side of our head. So that is applied as a class 1 lever. And also for class 2 lever, what we find, the rising the weight of a body on toe. So in case of the toe, the fulcrum is just the end point of the fingers, and the load, that is at the point of in between the fulcrum and the effort, and effort is just on the toe. So rising a weight of a human body on toes are the example of the second class 2 lever, or the second order lever. And for the third order lever, we find that rising a load by forearm. So rising a load by using the forearm, on that case what happened, the load is just at our hands, and the fulcrum is the end point of the arm, and also the E, that means the effort, is acting in between the load and fulcrum. So on that case, the load arm is higher than the effort arm, and class 3 type of lever is shown here. So we already find that just a minute. We already find that lever has a 3 types, class 1, class 2 and class 3, and its type depend upon the position of the load, effort and fulcrum. So whenever we calculate or we find out the different types of questions, we have to follow the positions, and on depending upon the position of load, position of efforts and position of fulcrum, we can classify the lever whether it is a class 1 lever, or it is a class 2 lever, or class 3 lever. And simultaneously, another things we find here, the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio. Whenever the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio greater than or higher than 1, that means the effort arm is higher than the load arm, the lever, that means the simple machine, is act as a force multiplier. But when the effort arm is less than the load arm, the mechanical advantage and velocity ratio is less than 1. On that case, that lever or that machine act as a speed multiplier. And when both arm is same, just like a seesaw or the simple what I say weight machine, here both sides are the same, and then on that case there is no change of force multiplication or a speed multiplication. It's just simple use to change the direction of the efforts or of the loads. So this is all about the lever. Now in next session we will discuss about the pulley. So if we get some questions regarding this lever, please write down, or please WhatsApp me or mail me on here, and I will try to answer, and I will try to solve your questions as per my discussions. So now whenever we find the different types of levers, another simple machine is pulley. So if we define the pulley, how we define the pulley, it's very easy, but little bit complicated than lever. How? Now basically pulley is a metallic or wooden disc with a grooved ring. This is the pulley. It's a metallic ring with a grooved ring. A string or a rope is passed through this pulley around the pulley of the ring, and the discs rotate about the axis, passing through the center, and the axle is fixed rigid to the frame by means of the nails. So, what is pulley? Now, pulley basically a metallic ring with a grooved ring, metallic disc with a grooved ring, and the pulley have some special quality that in both cases when we apply the effort and load, we just maintain the change of direction of the effort. That means the force, it's not act as a force multiplier, or it's not act as a speed multiplier. Basically, a single pulley can be used in two ways: as a fixed pulley by keeping its axis of rotational stationary and keeping the frame fixed in the position. That means a fixed pulley which has an axis of rotation is stationary in position. And on that case, the its axis is fixed, and the ring is just moved around the axis. So one end of the string is connected to the load, while the other end E is applied at the other end of the string or rope. Both the load L and the effort E are downwards. Here we find that load is also acting downwards, and we also give the effort in downwards. So if we are use the fixed pulley, in such a case, what we find that both L and effort E are downwards. The tension throughout the string is T, acting upwards, and this type of pulley is using for lifting a small load such as a water bucket from Y. So the load is acting that direction, so tension is in that direction, and load is acting that direction, the tension is that direction. So we can say that it is the if the friction, there is no friction between the ring and the surface of the ring of the pulley, then pulley act 100%. Efficiency of the pulley becomes the 100%. But physically it is quite impossible, because in pulley the mass of the ring and the frictional force in the axis also there. So we can say that the load, just a minute, I give you the example of the fixed pulley. Here the pulley is working in such direction, and the load which is downwards, and the tension which is upwards, and the load equal to tension T. Similarly, the efforts is equal to tension, so E is equal to T, and thus the mechanical advantage is equal to load by effort is equal to L by E, and as both L and E is equal, then equal to 1. So where is the mechanical advantage is less than 1 in case of the axial pulley, which means the effort is more than the load. Axial pulley due to frictional force and the masses of the string. So mechanical advantage is equal to 1. The arrangement, there is a no gain in mechanical advantage. If the point of application of effort E move a distance D downwards, and the load also move the same distance upward, then the distance traversed due to effort is equal to the distance traversed of load. So on that case, velocity ratio is also 1. That means we can say the efficiency, that is mechanical advantage divided by the velocity ratio, that is equal to 1. That means 100%. In actual practice, however, there is always some frictions at the axle or in the pulley bearing, so the effort need in little more than the load to be lifted, and thus the mechanical advantage is less than 1, but the velocity ratio always 1, so efficiency always less than 100%. A fixed pulley is used only to change the direction of the efforts to be applied. That is very much important. I again repeat, a fixed pulley is used to change the direction of effort to be applied. That is, with its use, the effort can be applied in more convenient direction. Now, we already understand about the fixed pulley. After fixed pulley, now we have to study the single movable pulley. Here we learn the single fixed pulley and now the single movable pulley. The principle of actually what is single movable pulley? This is the example of movable pulley or single movable pulley. A pulley whose axis of rotation is movable, that is not fixed in position, is called the movable pulley. That means that axis, that position of the axis is not fixed. That means it is always movable. When a rope or effort is applied in that direction, the position of that axis always change, and that's why it is called a single movable pulley. I repeat again, a pulley whose axis of rotation is movable, that is not fixed in position, is called the movable pulley. Here we are showing the example of single movable pulley. Now in single movable pulley, an inexhaustible string of negligible mass passes around the groove rim of the pulley. A load L, which is to be raised by applying an effort E, is suspended from the axle of the pulley. That one, axle of the pulley. One end of the string is fixed to the hook, that one, at the rigid support, and the other end is free and is used applying the efforts E. Tension T is acting on the string on both sides of the pulley. So here both sides the tension is applied here. And so mechanical advantage and velocity ratio and efficiency of single movable pulley. Assume that the frictional force is free, pulley bearing in action, and negligible weight of the pulley ring, that is rope. The load is getting balanced by the tension in each segment of the string, and the effort balances the tension at the free end of the string as it's shown in the above figure. So here L equal to 2T. How? Here L means there is also is a T towards to control the effort, and here also a T to the rigid portion where it is hanging in hook. So E is equal to T, but L is equal to 2T. So E is equal to L by 2. Hence the single movable pulley act as a force multiplier, as effort required to lift the load is a half of the load. That means the single movable pulley act as a force multiplier, as because the mechanical advantage is equal to load by effort, and the load is 2T and the effort is T. So on that case the mechanical advantage is equal to 2. That means the mechanical advantage greater than 1. That means the machine, that is the single movable pulley, act as a force multiplier. So when effort E pull the free end of the string to a distance 2D, the load only moves up a distance D, and this is because the segment of the string on both sides of the pulley move up a distance d. That means that portion is also move a distance d, that portion also move a distance d, and that means d plus d is equal to 2d, but the load is also just up d. So what happened? The velocity ratio, that means the distance moved by the effort by distance moved by the load, is equal to 2d by d, that is 2, and efficiency of the movable pulley is 100%. So this is the example and details of the single movable pulley. So this is the single fixed pulley and single movable pulley. Now we have to compare between the single fixed pulley and single movable pulley. I try to give you the photographic image of single movable pulley and comparison between the single movable pulley and the comparison between the movable pulley. This is that portion. So single movable pulley, it is fixed at a rigid support, whereas single pulley, single fixed pulley, it is fixed in the rigid support, and whereas it is not fixed at the rigid support. Its ideal mechanical advantage is equal to 1, but its ideal mechanical advantage is equal to 2, and its velocity ratio is 1, whereas its velocity ratio is 2, and the weight of the pulley itself does not affect its mechanical advantage, whereas the weight of the pulley itself reduces the mechanical advantage. And the fourth is, it is used to change the direction of efforts from upwards to downwards. And that means the single fixed pulley is not working as a force multiplier. It is just act as to change the direction of efforts from upwards to downwards, whereas the single movable pulley acts as a force multiplier. And that is very important comparison between the two types of pulley. And the load moves in a fixed direction opposite to that of the effort. That is important. And the load moves in the direction of the efforts. So these are the very two important comparison, and the axis of the rotation does not move in the space, and the axis of rotation also move in the space. So if we compare the two type of pulley, that means the single fixed pulley and the single movable pulley. In both cases, we find that the single movable pulley is act as to change the direction of efforts, but the single movable pulley act as a force multiplier. And single movable pulley, the axis of rotation are changeable, but in case of single fixed pulley, the axis of rotation is fixed. So these are some examples. By applying these laws of single movable pulley and single fixed pulley, we have to find out the combination of pulleys, and the combination of pulleys and its mechanical advantage is velocity ratio, and finally the different type of questions related with the pulley. So this is all about the pulley. In our next class, whenever we discuss the question answer session, we will answer each and every question of machine, the levers, and also about the pulley. So thank you for watching such important discussion, and if you have any query regarding the machine, please write down details, and I will try to give you the answer. Okay, thank you. Now the class is here. Next day we will discuss about the question answer session of machines. Okay, thank you.